Well, a very good afternoon to you and welcome to Sheffield in 2013. Here is the first event of our year so far. We're about to get things started here at the Climbing Works in Sheffield with the CWIF. Judges and officials are just making the final adjustments before we bring the athletes out of the ISO. Welcome if you are joining us. My name is Daniel Finn and I'll be with you. So just 9 minutes until we start bringing the athletes out. As you can see there in the background, this is the competition wall here, the green in the background, the Berghaus wall. Sponsors also by Adidas. Some really nice interesting volumes on men's problem 1 and women's problem 2 as well there. Sponsored by Adidas, we'll be showing you them shortly. They're just behind the logo at the moment. And here is our roaming camera down on the ground as well. Those are those Adidas volumes I was talking to you about. Moving on to here, women's problem 3. Onto the end to women's problem 4 in the corner there, and just a brief glimpse of men's problem 4. You can see that one with the eye in the right hand corner of your screen at the moment. So just 40 athletes now, semi-finals. Men's problem 3. A lot of sloper holds on this problem. I'll be taking you through the problems from the information I have from the route setter, the difficulty gradings, which are estimates as it is a competition.
The gentleman down the front, John Ellison, who's the driving force which over behind Climbers Against Cancer. We see a lot of his t-shirts around the place, but there are not enough t-shirts on display.
I'll be talking a little bit later as well with Graham Alderson, who is the organiser of this competition up here in Sheffield, about the CWIF's history and also the CAC. If you don't know what the CAC is, get yourself onto Facebook, type in Climbers Against Cancer and have a little look at the page up on there as well. Also, find yourself over onto 247.tv, the TV company that brings you all the coverage of the IFSC competitions throughout the year. Not long away from China now as well, Chongqing, the first bouldering and speed event on the IFSC calendar for 2013.
So you can always just give a little bit more of it. He's got a £20 note. He's from Lancashire, so he hasn't seen many of them in his life.
But we start this year off with CWIF, now in its 7th year.
But if you know what one of his teachers said, or his new police, or a little patch you got on your chalk bag, you need to do it at some point today.
All problems here set by Percy Bishton and his team. Percy is also the local MC. You might be able to hear him in the background talking to the crowd that is gathering here, which is starting to grow now as we start to move towards beginning the semi-finals. We have been promised a packed out crowd here at the Climbing Works for the finals later on this evening as well. Should be a fantastic way to start off 2013.
So after the semi-finals, if anyone would like to join us in giving them the bumps, that would be much appreciated.
We'll be following the standard rules for a semi-final, so 5 minutes per each athlete on each problem out here on the wall. There are 4 for each gender. As I mentioned a moment ago, I'll be talking you through some of the difficulties of the individual problems a little bit later on.
They'll work their way down. 5 minutes on each problem, and then they'll have a 5-minute rest period. The start holes on each problem marked with yellow tags. The finish holes marked with yellow tag. And you'll see on every problem there's a hold marked with a little green tag. That's the bonus hold.
Just to take you through some of the sponsors of the event. Up here in Sheffield, CWIF 2013 is sponsored by Adidas Outdoor, Berghaus, Scarpa, Outdoor Research, Axis Holds and Volks Holds. You should be able to see their logos littered around the walk.
The first climb is coming out today.
I think we are just about to start here with our first two climbers in reverse order from the qualifications gradings of yesterday. We will be joined by Sidonie Graham and Ed Morris, both of Great Britain. You can see men's problem 1 there, just in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, starting with the 2 satin holds. Moving up across those Adidas volumes to that final hold at the top, you can see they're marked in yellow tape. We'll be showing you women's problem 1 in just a moment's time.
In the men's competition, there's a pretty strong looking field. Lilliputian, Dave Barons, Jonathan Partridge, Luca Enimosa from Austria. Ben West, who's really coming well at the minute. Someone called Nedby, never heard of him before. Young upstart, Nathan Phillips, Tom Newman, Michele Caminati from Italy. And then the first place qualified yesterday from Austria, and Jakob CWIF. I think he's world climbing champion. He's quite good, he's done a bit. So just so you know what's going on, there's a scoreboard which will be updated live, I think. So
some interesting names as well, just to bring to your attention, that have made it through to the semi-finals that we'll be seeing a little bit later on, qualifying quite highly. Some of our well-knowns, Alex Puccio, Shauna Coxey for the women, as well as Mina Leslie Wujastic. And for the men, we are joined by Jakob Schubert, Lucas Enemossa, and Christopher Webb-Parsons as well.
Here are our first competitors.
And we are about to get things underway here. Our first two competitors join us on the mat.
I'm from the northeast. She's only 14 years old. She's still at school. On the right hand side, on the men's problem, we've got Ed Morris. Sheffield. There's 20 years old.
So here we are then, Ed Morris just starting off there for Great Britain on men's problem 1, and next to him Sidonie Graham on women's problem 1. Women's problem 1 is a slab. You can just about see the lean on that one from the angle that we have for you here. A lot of crimp holds, but a relatively low difficulty rating from Percy Bishton of V5. Here is Ed.
Oh, unlucky there for Ed, just forgot that move.
Unfortunately coming off on the volumes.
Sidoni climbing well, nice on that.
This is a V8, according to Percy. And we have our first top there in just one attempt. And that was for Sydney Graham. Still with Ed now though. Working the same way we would with an IFSC competition. Usual competition format. We'll move along this wall now in the semi-final, slowly filling it up. Try and cover as much of it as we possibly can for you. Ed just moving the left foot onto the plate there and using a toe hook on the satin holds. Matching. Just got to cross his feet and reach under with that other hand. Tricky position he's got himself into here. Bit of a shake. That was his second attempt. So yes, this wall will fill up as we move through the competition. We will have 8 climbers at a time on rotation. There you can see Sydney sitting down with her back to the wall. 5 minutes each on each problem. Ed just warming up a little bit. Maybe thinking through a different way to attack it. So 2 satin holds to start. This is a V8 difficulty problem. Both feet on there, you can see the start holds marked in yellow tape. Popping up with the left hand there. Having a bit of trouble here. Still got time on the clock for another attempt. So a lot of pinch holds on this one. I think the problem that he's having is moving from the bonus volume, which is the triangle Adidas volume there, the black one that you can just see in the top right hand corner of your screen at the moment, just having a quick clean. The bonus hold wasn't a problem for him. You can see the white chalk mark of previous attempts as the route setters have attempted the route to make sure that they're happy with it. Well, on the slightly lower, slightly larger volume, the black volume there, you can also see the thumbprints. And that is because the intended way to do this is to reach under and through with the other arm to secure the position. Turning away from the wall, dropping your hips in. Let's see if Ed is going to go for that this time. There's the first hand. And now he's secured the foot. Let's see if he reaches through here. Very nearly.
So he's got about 40 seconds left. There's enough time for another go.
Percy Bishton asking whether he's got enough time left for another go. A nod from Ed. Taking another little bit of time to think. Gonna have to get back on that wall in a moment. In the finals we work on a 4-minute plus basis, which means that if the climber is on the wall after the 4-minute clock has run out, they're allowed to stay on the wall and try and complete that attempt. But the minute they do come off, that is their last chance. In the semi-finals we work on a strict 5-minute basis. If Ed had been on the wall, even about to top then, and the clock had stopped, he would have been called down by the judges. You can see them in red just there as we greet our next 2 climbers. That's Alex Hughes for the women and William Atkinson for the men. Well, very quick to start there, didn't take long to think through that. Remember, the climbers are kept in ISO, so they have not had a gander at these walls. It's part of the charm of bouldering, figuring it out as well as the physical. You have the mental side of it as well. Let's see if Will is going to go.
Come on, Will. Will Atkinson in 67.
Taking some time to think there as well. Our female competitor, Sarah. Oh, sorry, Alex. And it looks like one of the judges just correcting her on that starting position. And there it is. And now she can start moving across. As you can see, very static. Crossover with the feet there. Tiny, tiny crimp holds. And it looks like men's problem 1, the problem is definitely going to come on the Adidas volumes. I'll show you that in a moment. There's the bonus there for Alex. A little bit shaky. So yes, women's problem 1 is a V5 in difficulty, so starting off not too tough for climbers of this level. Nice and slow on the traverse there. It's this push up here that she ran into problems with the first time round. Let's see how she manages it.
Sarah, come on. Come on. Oh, just slip up there. Come on, Will.
And now we are back with the men. Will having the same problem as Ed here. As I said before, you can't quite see it from this angle. You can just about see the thumbprints on the lower black volume there, the Adidas volume.
Come on, Sarah, this time. Yeah, good work. Come on. Come on. Yeah, nicely done. Come on, Sarah, let's give her some support.
Sarah now got a very, very close. Well, I do apologise. I thought that was Alex Hughes. It was not, in fact. It was Sarah Pashley. Alex, unfortunately, has pulled out of the competition.
Yeah, you do.
Ah, now, there we go. Will has made that there. Now, that's what I mean about reaching under. It looks like we could be about to see a top. Can he secure it? Second hand, and he does. Well, there's a top for Will. And we'll get to brief clean before we bring out the next athletes. We are still over with Sarah.
Sarah's back on for another go.
Well, unfortunately, no top there for Sarah Pashley. That's their 5-minute rotation done. So we are about to start moving on. Back on the wall this time, we have Sydney Graham over on women's problem 2, along with Ed Morris on men's problem 2 as well. Now this is when it's going to start getting really tough for the competitors. We're going to be seeing 2 and 3 for both men and women, separating our list, really dividing who is going to make it through to the finals later on this evening. This is where it's going to get a little more exciting. We're here at present, though, with Tanya Meredith over on female problem 1,
Eddie Barber on problem 1.
Trying to get into that start position. You can see how small those holds are there for the start position. Almost a run and jump.
This weekend's comp as well. Climbing pretty well at the minute, Eddie.
And over on the men's now, we have Eddie Barber. We'll show you some of him in a moment. So those attempts that we just saw Tanya having, getting onto the bonus, won't count, onto the star hold, Rolly, won't count as attempts. That one will, though. Judges won't start classing an attempt until the athlete has got themselves onto the start holds and moved from that position.
Only back on action on women's 2. Yeah, come on, Tanya. Yeah, nicely done, Tanya. Come on, keep going. You just get that foot up. Oh, that's so unlucky there. She's only climbing well on women's 2. Pretty burly, that one. Okay, climbers go out with 1 minute 45 seconds left. Everyone back in action.
So Eddie Barber now, here he is.
Come on, Eddie.
So go for that reach through.
Come on, come on.
Taking it part by part.
Yeah, nice. Come on,
That's
Eddie.
the idea. It's just got to secure that a little bit more. Lost his feet there, unfortunately.
Remember, these climbers have never seen these problems before. They climb on site. So they draw out of the isolation area and to try and solve the problem. The problem is basically will get harder and more sneaky and technical as they go through the round. There's 1 minute left, guys.
So just to go through some of the difficulty gradings of these two new routes that we're looking at here now, female problem 2 and men's problem 2. As I said, this is where it's going to start to get tough. The women's is a V7 and the men are straight onto a V8 on men's problem 2 as well. So they're staying at the same level roughly. These athletes climbed in the qualifiers yesterday and it's only going to get harder as we move through today and then even through to the finals as well. Very much a test of stamina. This is the right idea from Tanya now as well. 15 seconds roughly on the clock. Problem is she can't rush this move. She's going to have to really race into the wall, unfortunately. No. With less than 10 seconds, I think that might be it for Tanya there. And the same for Ed Morris and Sydney as well. On men's problem 2 and women's problem 2. So only one top for the men so far and one top for the women. Moving out now onto men's problem 1. Face some of you will doubtlessly recognise. That's Christopher Webb Parsons of Australia. And just next to him we are looking at Rachel Carr on women's problem 1. So I was just talking about the second problems that we're facing here, women's problem 2 and men's problem 2. Men's problem 2, very powerful start. Just saw a brief attempt then from Will to swing up for that sloper hold. We'll talk about that in a few moments' time. Here we're with Chris. This is Chris Webb Parsons. I think he might be stopped for that, as he didn't quite grab both of those satin holds at the start. He is going to be brought down for it. He had two hands on one of those holds, and clearly tape there that you need to use both. Well, there we are, nice and quick indeed for Rachel Carr there. Here's Chris making what now be classed as a second attempt.
Looking locked and loaded here.
Unfortunately, Chris trying to reach above and over there. Incline on this wall. It gets very, very steep later on as well, but it already is for men's problem 1. Women's problem 1 is a slab. There you can see Will in the background reaching up for that sloper on men's problem 2.
Yeah, nice, Will. Come on.
Very, very powerful start on men's problem 2. A lot of technical footwork, and he's made the jump as well in very, very good form today. And that makes the second top for him, William Atkinson. Currently in the highest position on the men's leaderboard. Sydney Graham still holding first place on the women's. Here's Chris again. We'll be taking these 20 athletes down to just 6 for this evening's finals. 6 from the men, 6 from the women. About 12 altogether. 40 here today. Now that was the right idea from Chris there. He's just got to reach through onto the next Adidas volume. 2 minutes 12 left on the clock. William Atkinson looking in very good form. We still have fairly tough competition to come. Jonathan Partridge of Great Britain, Lucas Enemosa and Jakob Schubert, of course, both hold just above those 2 volumes. He's actually an undercut. Interesting tactic to try and reach over it there.
Got about 8 seconds left, so I think these guys are going to call it a day. Welcome out the next 2
and we're about to do our turnaround.
So yeah, the next 2 out.
A new 5 minutes on the clock and a new 2 athletes out as well. This will be Gracie Martin of Great Britain and Liam Halsey of Great Britain as well.
Man renowned being quite a strong man. Liam's 32, goes to the Rue Centre. Corners in London, down the West Way.
This is what we tend to see in a lot of the IFSC comps as well. The athletes spending the first half a minute or so of their time just analysing the wall in front of them. They are called problems for a reason. Moving on with our next female athlete, Gracie Martin, on women's problem 1. And here you can see that powerful start of men's problem 2. And that is Eddie Barber.
Dirty Graham on women's problem 3. Morris on men's 3. Eddie Barber's on men's 2. Still going on.
And the start for Tanya there as well.
Gracie climbing well, women's 1. Come on, Gracie.
There you can see Tanya using the undercut, really lever in. Just about make it out. There's a really tiny pinch hold just next to that one as well. She was just using that for a little bit more leverage. Gracie doing very well here. She has the bonus. You can see her in the top left-hand corner. Unfortunately, commentator's curse.
Very strong brushing team today. You might see Gareth Parry, former Bouldering champion out there, brushing holds for his competitors. And Basque superhero. John Garros, finding out, no, not finding, brushing. Very thorough brusher. Can't have any holds left by the time he's finished with them. Right, come on Liam, this time. Nice. Come on, Liam. out what to do with those volumes up there. Sidonia Graham back in action now on women's 3.
There you can see a little bit closer in that second pinch hold there next to the undercut. Here's Tanya making another attempt at women's problem 2. 2 minutes 12 on the clock. It's looking like Barber is having some trouble going for that powerful jump up onto the sloper volume. You can just see it in the right there.
Eddie Barber having a look at men's 2. Trying to work out the solution.
So Gracie making another attempt here. She's already made the bonus. She's going to get that left foot up now. Take her time. Nice and slow, pushing up to the top of women's problem 1 there.
Come on, Gracie. Come on. Come on, Gracie. Come on, come on. Just lost the balance there.
Oh, a lot of support from the crowd there. Just leant back a little bit too much.
About 1 minute 15 left.
We're really trying to get above that incline. And then we can see female problem 3 just a little bit further on there. And that gets even harder. We're up to a V7 or 8. We get on to women's problem 3. Liam sorting his feet out there. He's got the right idea here.
Come on, Gracie, this time.
And is Gracie going to make it this time?
Oh, just slipped there. Unlucky for Gracie. I think probably not going to be enough time for another go.
5 seconds on the clock. It's looking like that's it for this round. We welcome some new athletes onto the wall. There's Chris Webb-Parsons getting back on to men's problem 2 now. With that powerful start. Here's the gathered crowd for the semi-finals. Later on this evening, it's going to be very busy indeed.
He's 97 years old. His occupation, he's basically a chancellor. And he has the biggest biceps in the competition. Whether or not they work is still to be decided. Let's see what he can do on this. So, we're
now joined by Sam Whitaker on men's problem 1.
DK Gallup's on problem 1.
Over on women's problem 2 now.
Women's 2. Chris Webb-Parsons on men's 2.
We're joined by Rachel Carr. Very quick to get up into the position that was troubling some of the other women. There's the bonus hold as well. And across that left foot now.
Nice, come on, Casey. Yeah, nice, Casey, come on. CWP doing well as well. Come on, CWP.
Sam just not managing to hold on there. Some interesting stuff going on with Chris Webb-Parsons though over on men's problem 2. Managed to stick the sloper volume that's just being cleaned. But let's just stay here for a second as Rachel makes another attempt at moving up past that bonus hold on women's problem 2.
Come on, Sam. This time.
So Sam Whitaker again now. Is he going to go for that reach under? There's a heel hook there.
Oh, get down. Have some of that.
You could probably hear Percy Bishton in the background, the man who set these routes, making some jokes with the crowd and with the athletes competing here. Quite a few of them are locals. There's Chris Webb-Parsons making another attempt now on men's problem 2. He's figured out how to get past this power section at the start up onto this sloper volume, but it's this pop up onto the bonus hold, you can just see there marked in black, that seems to keep trumping him.
He's sprung for that like a kangaroo. Meanwhile, on the right hand side, poor Will. What's going on, Will? It's hard over there, apparently.
Sam's still on the ground again. It looks like he's going to go for another attempt here. 1 minute 30 left on the clock. Definitely got the first part figured out there. Passing that within about 4 seconds. Now is he going to go for this reach under?
Come on, Sam. Stick with it, come on.
The problem he's facing there is that he really hasn't got much of an edge at all on that volume on the left, the pyramid, the black volume, highest on the wall. There is a plate just on the other side of it. You can see where the white mark is there on the right-hand side of the volume. But it's not much. Still going with another attempt here from Rachel Carr. Chris, unfortunately, not able to make that double dyno. It does look like Chris might keep missing a foothold. The lower section of men's problem 2. We'll have a look at that in a moment if he makes another attempt. Well, 5 seconds left to go. Not so. And unfortunately that's it for Sam as well. That's the first time he's made the crossover.
Yeah, you've blown it. Push it down.
As I said before, the judges are very strict with the 5-minute time limit. The climbers obviously know this. As we move through to the finals later on this afternoon, we'll be on a 4+ minute basis. This gives the athletes the opportunity to stay on the wall once those 4 minutes have gone to see if they can make that last final attempt count. The way we grade bouldering is the most amount of tops in the least amount of attempts. So every try is vital. These athletes are going to want to do this as quick as they possibly can. The least amount of attempts to secure one of those 6 places. Very quick to reach position on M1 there, but looks like all of our male athletes are having trouble with that crossover. That's Max Ireton coming out on men's problem 1. And Katie Forrester on women's problem 1 already with the top by the sound of the applause from the crowd there. She's going to set back down again. We are back with Gracie on women's problem 2 as well. And Liam Halsey, you see there on men's problem 2. We will be showing you some of 3 and 4 a little bit later on. Sydney is currently on women's problem 4. We'll try and give you an image of that in a few moments' time. 3 minutes left on the clock. See Liam just working out what exactly he's going to try here at the beginning of them 2. It's a powerful start.
on the internet and on IFSC TV.
2 minutes 30 left on the clock. There's Gracie checking that clock as Liam makes another attempt here.
There should be a lot of people watching on the internet.
The heel hook very early on.
It's going well here. Come on, Ed.
Very interesting technique there.
Oh, come on, Ed. Push it out. Push it out. It's not about pulling. It's all about pushing. Come on, Ed. Oh.
Another clean there from Liam. Let's see what he attempts this time. That higher of the two red volumes that you can see that they're swinging out to with the right hand at the beginning of men's problem 2. Is also what I believe might help out as a foothold a little bit later on, pushing up onto that bonus hold, the problem that we saw with Chris Webb-Parsons a few moments ago. Ayrton now up on men's problem 1 as well. Cheers for Max now.
I think Max is probably one of the youngest competitors in the men's round. Still competing in the junior category.
It is a difficult one to spot, the angle which you are on the wall at that point. You can see it from the ground. As I said before, there are problems. They're meant to be solved. It's looking like Max is taking some time on the floor now to readdress his attitude to that particular problem. There, the very far end is Ed on men's problem 4. You can see the eye in the middle there. Very static. He's just about to top. Can't quite see the final hold there. We will show you that a little bit later.
Yeah, come on. Back in for a bit more. The press of death.
He's going to have to mantle here.
Come on, Ed. Come on.
Really got to push. This wall is completely vertical. There's no slab on it and there's no incline. But that mantle is really tough. And that's the next rotation. Chris Webb-Parsons now moving out onto men's problem 3, which is another V8.
Big guns, small left.
I'll take you through that a little bit later when we head over there. Here's Dave Barons on men's problem 1. Another familiar face from the IFSC World Cups.
Dave Barons is last year's CWIF champion.
And I believe that's Molly as well. Molly Thompson-Smith on women's problem 1. Dave Barron's relatively quick to start. Men seem to be handling that first section. Quite a lot of ease there. Let's see if he goes over or under. Under straight away.
They're going well here on men's 1.
Do with a heel hook, possibly. A toe hook, sorry. Readjusting position here, trying to figure it out. Men's problem 2 now, we're back with Sam. Definitely looks like he's got the power to pull off this first move.
On men's 3. Will Atkinson. What's he doing? No lick for us, dude. Will's got a bad back, apparently. Will do it for there.
And here's Chris over on men's problem 3. Just a brief show there. According to Percy, that's by far the most difficult one. 2 and 3 of both the women's sections and the men's sections are going to be causing the most problems, but men's problem 3 is entirely made of slopers. You can just see a few of them there from that angle. even the final hold. You can see just at the top left as we watch, as we get our first top on men's problem 4. Relatively early on as well. It's looking like Will could be making it through to the finals here. There's definitely at least 3 tops. And it looks like Dave Barons is going to manage men's problem 1. The first man to do so since we saw Will pull it out the bag earlier.
Back in sector, big guns, CWIF.
So the current standings at the moment put Rachel Carr at the top of the female list with 1 top in 1 attempt, 2 bonuses in 2 attempts. Next to Katie Forrester with 1 top in 1 attempt and 1 bonus in 1 attempt. Third place, Jennifer Wood, 1 top in 2 attempts and 1 bonus in 2 attempts. Sydney Graham in 4th with 1 top in 2 attempts and 1 bonus in 2 attempts. And Molly Thompson-Smith, 1 top in 6 attempts, 1 bonus in 6 attempts. Less than a minute now for the men's. William Atkinson definitely sitting at the top of that list. We have definitely seen 3 tops from him so far. It's looking like we have a 3-way, actually I think a 5-way tie for second place between Max Ireton, Sam Whitaker, Christopher Webb-Parsons, Eddie Barber and Ed Morris, all with 1 bonus in 1 attempt so far. Chris Webb-Parsons is going to have to definitely pull something out of the bag in these last two bouldering problems now if he wants to see himself in the final. Bit of aggression there. 5 seconds left to go. There you can see the slopers on that wall. And another rotation. Bring out 2 new athletes. Alison Banwell for Great Britain on women's problem 1. And Joshua Farrell on men's problem 1. See Josh there. Quite tall Josh. Should be able to make that reach through on men's problem 1 with no trouble at all. Max trying a little more static approach there. Really, really shaking, but looking like he's managed to push through that. He can secure a foot there. And he's matched on the bonus as well. Eddie Barber there on men's problem 4. This is that vertical wall. The mantle, you can just see the white mantle in the top right-hand corner of your screen. The bonus hold there, the blue. Both that blue hold and the mantle. Very little to go by. And this is women's problem 4 up in the far corner, which is a V6. It's a long problem. Going to be very tough on the stamina, considering that 2 and 3 have been so hard. By far the most difficult, women's problem 2 and women's problem 3. Problem 4 a little bit easier for the women, but a longer problem. Bit of a roof there as well, you can see it just getting started now. You can see the bonus hold there as well, facing the camera with the green tape on it. That first section shouldn't be too difficult. Getting to the bonus shouldn't be too much of a problem according to Percy. It's definitely looking like men's problem 2 is cutting the pack a little bit here. We haven't seen very much going on women's problem 2 either. If you are just joining us, welcome to CWIF 2013. In the 7th year.
Yeah, come on Eddie, push.
It's running up here in Sheffield in England.
Nicely done. Nice work. Even using his knee there, ladies and gentlemen, Eddie Barber.
Joshua Farrell taking another attempt there. See further on along the wall, Liam over on men's problem 3. Definitely using some time to readjust those slopers. Joshua unfortunately swinging out just too much. And there you can see Molly as well, Molly Thompson-Smith at the bottom of the screen. Waiting her turn. Here we are over on men and women's problem 3 and 4. It's the alarm for the last minute. Men's problem 3. The first and second move, according to Percy, are the ones that really have to watch out for. Very power-based problem, not a lot of technical difficulty. Going to be ones for the power merchants that come out a little bit later on. We see Jakob coming out. Very quick start there from Max. Hand onto the bonus, but I'm not sure whether he's secured that yet. And Josh is making another attempt as well, a little further down the wall. 10 seconds. It's looking like Max is going to leave it there on men's problem 2. And we have another turnaround. Another 5 minutes where we will be joined by Eleanor Howard and James Garden. James Garden on men's problem 1. Seems just about to make a start there. And Molly Thompson-Smith back on the wall. Saw her at the World Youth Championships in Singapore last year. Dave Barron's next to her.
He's won some competitions. James going well here, come on. Just trying to work out to get the start at the start.
Well, here is women's problem 4. You can see the roof section there.
Come on, mate. You can do it. Oh, man, he got like a kangaroo there.
Chris Parsons having a bit of a tough time from Percy Bishton. Interesting, considering that Chris is a minority of international athletes here. We have some Austrians, some Italians, one Aussie, one from the US as well. We have Alex Puccio to come out later on. Here's Chris with another attempt. Foot onto the third eye. See, that bonus hold is really, really tricky on men's problem 4, as is the mantle that follows it. This is women's problem 3 now.
Meanwhile, DK Guard's on the wall, everybody. Oh, he's off again. Come on, Sam. Don't let everyone down. Sounds like he recently became a dad.
Chris really having to use his ape there to secure a position on the wall on men's problem 4.
He's inherited the bicep gene to live up to his name.
Women's problem 3 that you can see here. Relatively basic setup. It's going to take a dyno up to a pocket. You can just see creeping in at the top of the corner. There. Just see the donut shape. It's going to take a little bit of a pop up to that one. This is a V7 to V8. Women's problem 3. Here is Dave Barron's on men's problem 2. This is the power move. Dave showing very little problem with that, but we've seen this next couple of moves relatively well secured there. He's using a heel hook, and he has matched on the bonus hold. This is good. And he's managed the top as well. Dave Barron's looking in very good form there. There's a top for him. As Chris Webb-Parsons tops out on men's problem 4 as well. It's looking like finding the bonus hold on men's problem 4 and then moving over to that mantle is causing the most trouble. The mantle itself, even though Percy thought it was going to be the tricky part, doesn't seem to have caused too much trouble for Will or for Chris. Here is women's problem 4. This is the stamina-based problem. Talk a little bit later about where the tricky part of this wall is. It's looking at the moment like the tricky part starts relatively early on, but Percy was fairly confident that shouldn't be too much difficulty getting to the bonus, which you can just see there marked with the green tape. Here's Molly now over on women's problem 2.
The very strong team, the only person who didn't qualify for today's semi-final was actually Ben.
Unfortunately, that is time up, and we are joined by some new athletes. Just over halfway now through our 20 women and 20 men that are joining us for the semi-finals here in Sheffield at the Climbing Works International Festival, or the CWIF. Here is Emma Twyford for the women on women's problem 1 of Great Britain. We are joined by Jonathan Partridge on men's problem 1 as well. You can just see him starting up there. I think he's going to be corrected on that start position. Seeing quite a lot of athletes wanting to go for that 2 hands on the upper satin hold. There's Max taking a start on this sloper-based route, men's problem 3. Quite a few pinch holds as well as you move up through that problem. Josh having trouble with the power on men's problem 2. Let's see now how John Partridge gets on. He's using quite a high heel hook there. Looked like he was going to try and lever up over the apex of that higher volume instead of going for the undercut. There you can see the bonus hold rather that I was talking about on women's problem 4. But it seems like most of the women that we've had attempt this problem so far haven't quite got that far. There was a top there on women's problem 1, just to keep you informed. It's Emma Twyford. 2 minutes 40 on the clock. We're up in the far corner having a look at these final problems. Here's women's problem 3. It's the one that takes that jump up into the donut hole just above that shot there. You can see the red donut hold there just of women's problem 2, the final hold, as John tries to make it himself. This is a different way. Just short.
Going very well on men's ball. Come on, Liam, stick with it.
Liam, after some tricky times during men's problem 2 and 3.
Push it out, Liam. Come on.
Trying to make that mantle there on men's problem 4. Josh on men's problem 2 having trouble with that powerful start.
See if there's a better way of trying them. Scruffy looking guy brushing the holes there. It's a former British bowling champion, Gareth Parry. If anyone's got any advice they want on Tony's, you can ask Gareth.
Looking like Josh has got a hand to that sloper now. Can he match? Not quite enough there. With the last minute on the clock at present, you can see Jonathan Partridge making another attempt at getting up on men's problem 1.
Oh, John, what are you doing? You don't keep hold of it. 30 seconds left. Can he do it? Some speed bouldering. Come on, Partridge.
20 seconds on the clock. Josh having some problems on M2. And Max cleaning the wall. If he's going to try and make an attempt to get to the bonus on men's problem 3, he's going to need to do it now, and he's going to need to do it quick. Jonathan Partridge on M1 at the moment, making one final attempt. 3 seconds to go, and unfortunately has just come down off the wall. So we are up with another rotation now. Diane Merrick. And our first Austrian competitor for the men, Lucas Enemoser.
And on men's one, the first of our strong Austrian contingent, Lucas Enemoser from Austria.
Lucas just having a little look at the wall there. Here we are back with Dave Barons on men's problem 3. If he can do this, he's putting himself in relatively good stead of making it through to the finals. After topping men's problem 2 just a few moments ago. There's Lucas being corrected on those 2 Saturn holds at the start as well. That judge is becoming a bit of a celebrity. Diane Merrick of Great Britain. Both of these athletes well known on the IFSC World Cup boulder circuit. Saw a lot of them last year. Lucas made a very, very promising year.
Come on, Diane. Yeah.
Diane Merrick not having much trouble at all there on women's problem 1. Lucas having to have a rethink here on men's problem 1.
He's at the top. How did he get up there?
Dave Barron's doing exceptionally well now over on men's problem 3 as well. It's looking like he could top here. And he's got it as well. Now if Dave can pull something out of the bag on men's problem 4, we could definitely be seeing him as one of our 6 in the final. He's looking very strong. Another strong competitor, Lucas Enemosa, now making another attempt at men's problem 1. Now the power shouldn't be a problem for him here, or the stamina. Austrians, renowned for their intensive training regime. It's just figuring out exactly how he's going to attack this problem.
Come on.
Unfortunately, Lucas back on the floor again. Now, we did see a top a few moments ago. The lady on women's problem 2 do a top here as well. The women's group is relatively close at the moment. It's only split over 1 top in the amount of attempts. We can see something on either 2 or 3 from one of these athletes. It's definitely improving their chances. Considering how hard most of the other athletes are finding 2 and 3. For instance, how we saw Dave Barons on men's problem 2 a few moments ago make a top there. Potentially give him 3 tops here. And here's Lucas making another attempt now with the minute marker going off, letting us know just 60 seconds left. He's got to change his tactic here a little bit. If he wants to make another attempt at that, he's got to get up on the wall again right now. It's looking like he wants to. It's looking like James Gardner's matched the bonus as well over on men's problem 2. And he's made the top. Very nice indeed. I believe his first top so far on this one, though. It seems like men's problem 1 is actually proving more of a problem than men's problem 2 is. Ben West now out on men's problem 1, and Tiffany Soithong Suk on female problem 1. Both of Great Britain. And John Partridge is back out on the wall. Jonathan Partridge on men's problem 2. There you can see him getting started now. There's the heel hook. It's going to let this pop up now.
Nice work, guys. And the best and the most played tracks on just his side part. Loves a bit of pep up, boys.
Spending a lot of time, some of the athletes on the floor, just analysing how to attack these problems. Here's Max. Again now just making it to the mantle on men's problem 4. There's the foot. Quite quick here. Really got to push through onto this final section if you can get above this. Unfortunately not. Still plenty of time there though. This is looking good as well over on women's problem 2. That's a bonus hold there. Moving the feet up. Unfortunately, just slipping off. Plenty of time. 3 minutes still left there. that first female athlete to make it up onto the bonus hold, I believe. And that hold, you can see that the red one just above it is the one that Percy believes is going to cause most of the problems on women's problem 4. Having to match that hold and move past it. It's looking like we've actually seen more problems at the beginning of women's problem 4 than we have in the later stages. Here's Ben now. Interesting. I thought he was going to manage to hold that then. It's not the tactic we were expecting people to use, but there you are. Max unfortunately just not able to stick through that mantle. The wall is completely vertical. There is no incline or slab on that one. Johnson Partridge. Certainly with the power section at the beginning of men's problem 2. Emma Twyford now. Let's see if she can push past this bonus hold. She will be the first female athlete so far today to do so. Got the tiny crimp hold there. Interesting tactic. The problem with this one is going to be the final hold for the women as well. There is very little on that hold, although it looks relatively decent as a donut. For a pocket at the top there, there's not much of a positive edge at the very end. They're going to have to be quite slow pushing up after using so much power and concentration and energy on the start of female problem 2. Howard making another attempt there on men's problem 1. Johnny Partridge really having some problem over on men's problem 2. I don't think he's made the sloper yet. Are we going to see some last seconds of magic from Emma now on women's problem 2? She's going to make an attempt. She's got to wake up and clock the clock. 15 seconds. She's left it too late now. Unfortunately, unaware of the time.
Okay, Emma, that's time. Next 2 competitors.
So we have another rotation now, another set of athletes out. We are now joined by Michaela Tracy of Great Britain and Neil Mawson of Great Britain again. This is Diane Merrick now, setting up on women's problem 2. Let's see how she gets on with this one. She'll definitely be more aware of the time than we saw Emma just a few moments ago. Diane is used to climbing under the pressure of the IFSC World Cup circuit.
Okay, this is a local climb over Foundry. I'm not sure what that is. I heard about it. I think it's my place to climb.
Mawson now. Neil Mawson taking his time here, looking relatively secure. Let's see how he gets on with this next move across.
Just stopping to fill in on that. Oh, he's got it. Well, no one was looking.
Diana's already made the bonus hold on female problem 2 now. It's going to be interesting to see whether she can push up past that. Here she is. Unfortunately not. 3 minutes 30 left on the clock though, Diana. Plenty of time. That first part of that problem didn't seem to be too tricky for you. Michaela Tracy. Last move here. Got to take it slow. Really push into that wall.
Go on, Mickey, stick with it.
promise that we're not hypnotizing you with the Adidas spinning logos, by the way. No subliminal messaging going on here at all. Final move now. Oh, Molly Thompson-Smith making the bonus holdover on women's problem 4. Well, that was a top, I can tell you now, for Michaela Tracy. Molly Thompson manages to match that tricky, greasy hold there, makes the pinch as well. Oh, just falling short of the final move there.
Very strange way.
2 minutes still left on the clock, just under now. Diane Merrick waiting for this hold to be clean.
Will Atkinson is no longer at the top. You've no idea how relieved I am about that.
Lucas Enemosa on the powerful start of M2 there. You can just see him starting off.
Lucas Enemosa on men's 2.
James Garden a little bit further on men's problem 3. We just saw Dave Barons make short work of, kind of crept up on us that one. Busy elsewhere, and all of a sudden David was almost at the top of the wall. All about slopers, men's problem 3. Just to go through the grading, or the rough grading that Percy has given me. Percy Bishton and his team of route setters have set here for us. For women's problem 1 and men's problem 1, we're looking at a V5 for the women and a V8 for the men. For women's problem 2, we're looking at a V7 for the women and a V8 for the men on men's problem 2. Women's problem 3, we're looking at a V7 to 8, so kind of between a V7 and a V8 on women's problem 3 for the women. And for men's, on men's problem 3, we're looking at a V9. So that sloper move that you can see James Garden on just at the bottom of that corner there now, that's a V9 for the men. Is Molly going to be able to top here? Oh,
so close.
That's twice now. With 15 seconds left to go. Such a shame as well. Very strong younger climber. Molly Thompson-Smith. Exceptionally well over at the World Youth Championship in Singapore 2012.
And that's it, it's all over. 2 more people.
Unfortunately, another turnaround there. Just to wrap up the last difficulty problems for you then. Women's problem 4, that's a V6, and men's problem 4, dropping down from the V9 of men's problem 3. Men's problem 4 is a V8. So we're joined with 2 new athletes, and I believe one of them is Ed the Baker Fihali. Take you over and show you them in a few moments' time. 4 minutes 30 on the clock, and Josh is about to make his first attempt on men's problem 4. This is the mantle. Bit of a problem Josh has all the way through this competition.
What was that? Just a wall.
Ed asking for a bit of a clean there.
Just trying to work out what to do.
Over on female problem 3 here. This little dyno. The angle that we've got on the floor there with our roaming camera, it doesn't quite do it justice from the incline that it is. It's a 40% incline on women's problem 3. There you can see it. So that little pop, it's a lot different from down on the ground and up in the air. Fantastic effort here, and matching as well on the bonus. And that's a top for Ben.
Good work, Ben. Ed's doing something in there.
Ed's trying another interesting tactic. We've seen a lot of interesting tactics in this one, and he's got it. That's the way to do it. He's got 2 minutes 50. Hopefully that should have felt right. Let's see if he goes for it a second time in a few moments. Back with Jonathan Partridge now, men's problem 3, the V9, the hardest grade problem on here. The only person that we've seen do it so far, I believe, is David Barrett.
Nobody's strongest problem yet today. But remember, the strongest people from yesterday are going all out.
Well, here's Ed with his next attempt.
Come on, Ed.
Is he going to try reaching through again, like he did a few moments ago, or is he going to try the first attempt and go up? Toe hook. And yep, there it is. Couldn't quite secure it there. He knows he's doing the right thing, but he's just trying to figure out how he's going to move past that.
Struggling there with the hard moves.
1 minute 30 left on the clock now. Plenty of time for each of these athletes to make one final really, really big push, if not 2 on the wall. Jonathan Partridge further on then. Josh has actually managed to get a little bit further up as well on men's problem 4. Looks like he's approaching the mantle. Try and show you him in a moment. There we go. He's got to get a leg up there. It doesn't look like that's dawned on him yet. Is he going to try it now? He's got to switch feet. There it goes. And there's the leg. Now this is where it's really going to get tough. This point here, can he push past this? Manages to get up. Plenty of time to finish here if he can push harder. Really got to brace into that wall. Fortunately not. And Ed still working away as well with 30 seconds left to go. And he knows it as well. Here we go. 20 seconds. Quick to start. He's going to have to be really quick here if he wants to see a top.
Come on, Ed. Come on, Ed.
5 seconds. I don't think he's going to manage to do it.
Come on, Ed.
Oh, so close. That's 1, but I think just under time. Unfortunately, Ed the Baker Fihali gets a round of applause from the audience. A fantastic effort there. It looked like he might have done it if he'd pushed just a little bit quicker. We've seen a lot of problems switching onto that second volume on men's problem 1. He needed to take his time there. Unfortunately, he just left it a little bit too late.
Okay. Over this one, shoulder boxing.
So another turnaround then. Nathan Phillips of Great Britain on men's problem 1, and we are joined by Shauna Coxey. A name very well known in the IFSC circuit after her first full year last year on the World Cups. Pop over and show you sort of Shauna climbing in a moment's time. There she is at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. After 2012, finished up the year despite a broken leg or ankle after a climbing incident at Magic Woods. She ended up 2nd, I believe, at the end of 2012. Oh no, I apologize, 3rd. Akio Noguchi came in 2nd at the end of the bouldering year last year. Even though she had to miss quite a few of the competitions. A flash there for Shauna. Easy start. Should be seeing her in the final.
There's some rushing prowess on display here. Matt Pearson, one of the best rushers in the business. Little Bob at 9 PM.
3 minutes still left on the clock.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
Like progress steadily but surely being made over on women's problem 4. Interesting to see how height can play a part in climbing as well. Not always a benefit to be tall. On women's problem 4, it looks like that extra bit of height might actually help. But on men's problem 2, crunching into that power section at the start. We've seen Joshua, one of the tallest climbers here, struggle quite a few of these problems. That's the bonus hold now on women's problem 2. Mirror image going on here, and a mirror fall. Slapping out for that plate, causing a problem on women's problem 4. Well, welcome if you are joining us. We're here in Sheffield, England, for the Climbing Works International Festival CWIF in its 7th year of running. And we are winding down now. Almost. Our final few athletes coming out to join us on the wall. Starting to approach the end of the semi-finals here today. Still 2 more from each to come out. We have actually lost an athlete from each, so instead of our usual 20 in the semi-finals, we actually only have 19. We've lost Bob Smith from the men's and Alex Hughes from the women's.
Yeah, nicely done there, ladies and gentlemen. Luke Arnold from Austria.
And Lucas Enemosa has just managed to top on men's problem 3. The V9 problem, you can just see it getting cleaned there. We saw Dave Barron's top there earlier. Lucas Enemosa has just done the same. Another turnaround. And Tom Newman now of Great Britain. Seen him at a few comps this year as well. Sorry, last year at the IFSC 2012 competitions. And out on women's problem 1, I thought it was going to be Alex Puccia, but that's not, that's different. That's Leah Crane. And this is Jonathan Partridge trying to make the bonus on men's problem 4. Emma Twyford now on women's problem 4. That was a top for Leah Crane. Name I'm not particularly familiar with from the IFSC World Cups. She came in 3rd yesterday, only just behind Mina, Leslie Wojastik and Alex Puccio. Definitely making an impression here. Let's see how she gets on as we move across the wall, following her in a few moments' time. Currently here with Jonathan Partridge, right at that point of the mantle that you've really, really got to push at. And it's looking like he's managed it. Can he get that leg up? Oh, very nearly came away from the wall there. Slow but steady. And that's the way to do it. Jonathan Partridge in less than a minute tops on men's problem 4. Men's problem 4, which is a V8. It's looking like we could see a top here on women's problem 4. So close, exactly the same thing that we saw happen with Molly a few moments ago. Emma Twyford, plenty of time. Emma, come on, you can get up, you can do this. Having a moment, it looks like. 2 minutes 20 left on the clock. Come back to her in a moment. Well, here's Tom Newman of Great Britain. And he's figured that part out relatively quickly. Always the advantage on black holes. You can see where the white hand marks are. It's looking like Tom Newman's getting the top there. Yes, he is. Men's problem 1, very nice. First top we've seen in a while. Very, very close attempt. A couple of turnarounds ago, but the first top we've seen for quite some time on men's problem 1. You can just see Ben there. Ben, a little bit of time left. 1 minute on men's problem 3. And if we come back down, women's problem 2, just as I was about to start talking about it as well. We'll stay with women's problem 4. There you can see the roof there. Like Emma's a little bit upset about that one. I think that might be it from her with 30 seconds left on the clock. Just the ladies on the wall now, 15 seconds. Ed's finished up as well on men's 2. 3 seconds left to go. We have another change around, and unfortunately that is it for them. And this is Lucas Enemosa and Diane Merrick now coming out to make their final climb. Problem 4. And there's Shauna Coxey now coming out on women's problem 2. She's had a flash so far on women's problem 1. And we are joined by Alex Puccio now. Well, I thought it was about to come out a few seconds ago, but she's over on women's problem 1. We'll take you there in a few moments' time. There's Lucas and Diane on problem 4. Really, really tough start on men's problem 4. Doesn't seem to be too bad for Lucas, but then it is that push up onto the bonus hold a little bit further on. Here's Alex Puccio on women's problem 1. Very well known indeed. An up and down year last year, 2012. Made quite a few finals. Kept slipping off that podium. Won the ABS 14 in America. I think he's the 7th time. Very well known US climber. Shauna Coxey, no problem at all on female problem 2. She's just topped there and it looks like it was a flash. 3 minutes 20, Diane Merrick now has to match this, and there it is. So she's already got the bonus hold here. Just got to secure this with a match now. Diane, you'll be the first woman to do so far. Very tricky indeed. Not much on that hold at all. Well, unfortunately, we are unable to have chat on the IFSC streaming site anymore. Paperwork and things stopping us from doing that, but a big shout out to everybody that is joining us from the usual crowd that followed us all through last year. If you do want to get in touch with us, if there are any questions that you want to send our way as we move through this competition and into the final later on today, get yourself over onto 24/7 TV's Facebook page and send any questions you might have our way. I'm Daniel Finn, and I'll be with you all the way through this competition up here in Sheffield. Lucas Enemosa here now as well, making that transfer with ease, and this is what I mean about the power of the Austrians. Is he gonna, oh, slipped foot. Dan Merrick making another attempt at women's problem 4 with 1 minute 30 left on the clock. Gonna have to be quick getting up to that final position. She wants to try and top out here. So yes, unfortunately no chat, but if you are after us, you can get onto us on the 24/7 Twitter as well. Or you could find me, send me a question on Twitter at _Daniel Finn. And we'll try and answer any questions you might have. 6 p.m. tonight for the finals, so we will be taking a short break, coming back to you a little bit later. Winding down now, but can Diane? Unfortunately she can't. Commentator's curse every time. Well, another thing that's been taken out of our hands are the results, so apologies for that one as well. We will let you know as soon as we get them what they are. Lucas taking a little bit more time on this attempt now. Only 30 seconds left to go. He's going to make this. He's going to have to be really, really quick. Got to push here. 20 seconds left to go. If he's going to do it, it's going to be on this attempt. Got to push. Got to get that foot on. Come on, Lucas. 3, 2, and he manages to do it just in time. Very quick turnover, like speed climbing. It's easier if you do it quicker. Seemed to work out there for Lucas as well. And now our final 2 athletes join us on the wall. Jakob Schubert, the world lead champion, made a crossover onto bouldering last year, kicking things off at Chongqing, which is only a few days away. We'll be over there giving you the bouldering and the speed competition. So he made a cross from the lead competitions into bouldering last year and made quite the impression. A very good year indeed. He took gold in his very first one, in fact. That was in Chongqing.
Recently made the first female ascent to come out of the store.
And we're also with Mina Leslie Wojastik as well, who topped the leaderboard yesterday in the qualifications. Apparently, according to Graham Alderson, she's in very good form at the moment. I am, in fact, just joined by Graham Alderson. So, Graham, how are you finding the competition so far today?
Well, I've not actually been able to watch any of it because I've been escorting the climbers from isolation. So I get to watch about a minute, then I have to go and do a job.
Did you lumber yourself with that with that job? Because running things here, you chose to lead them from ISO instead of watching.
Well, somebody's got to do it. I know all the climbers. You know, got a good relationship with them. With Jakob, we had a little joke in isolation, asking him if he had his iPhone. He said, "Oh no, I've got a Samsung these days."
Referring to an incident which I'm not going to go into too much, but fair enough.
No, people on the stream, I'm sure they know what we're talking about. Jakob's cool with me, no problem.
You seemed fine earlier as well. Have you seen Dave Barron's at all?
No, I didn't get to see Dave climb, but I believe he did all 4. Did he flash them?
a couple, definitely. I'm not sure whether he did all 4. I think he definitely did 3. I think he missed 1.
He did 4. Yeah, he definitely did all 4.
Oh, right, okay, that's you beating me there. There is Jakob Schubert topping out on men's problem 1. Yeah. So, Graham, tell us a little bit about the Climbing Works International Festival and how long it's been running.
Well, we've been running every year since we opened. We're 6.25 years old, so this is our 6th edition. Myself and Percy Mishton in particular are obviously very involved with competition, and it's always our intention to try and develop a real international competition, but as part of something else to give back to our customers. I mean, yesterday we had 350 people climbing, so relative intermediate climbers climbing on the same problems in the same competition as the likes of Jakob and Alex and Shauna. Our normal customers love it. They can, as I say, it's not often. It's like playing in Wembley if you're a normal footballer. It just doesn't happen. And we do other things like free barbecue and everything. Stacks and stacks to give away stuff from our sponsors, particularly Scarborough Outdoor Research. But the big boys, Berghaus and Adidas, there's so much to give away. It's brilliant. Nothing nice than wandering along the mats with boxes full of stuff, just throwing it into the audience. People love it. I love it.
Are we completely sold out for tonight, or can people still get a few tickets and get themselves down here?
Well, there's no ticketing. You get there, first come, first served. I mean, normally you've got to be here at least an hour beforehand. I mean, we do erect a big screen as well, so those people who made the effort to come down but are a bit late can still actually see part of the atmosphere, and they can see the live stream, even though it's delayed obviously by about a second. It's a bit odd watching it on the screen, but yeah, we put the extra effort in so the people who make the effort can still see it. And 6 years ago we had people watching from the car park, they couldn't get in. Alex Puccio and Chris Webb Parsons, they weren't competing, we're watching it on the web stream monitor. They couldn't get close enough. They didn't try and push through and say, don't you know who I am? They just stood at the back and watched the Mike's monitor. It was great.
And Graham, intention for the coming years from now on, I mean, what's the future for CWIF?
Well, this year we've actually been a bit unlucky with the time, and it's the French team selection weekend this week, so there's none of the French guys are here, and normally they come on mass. I mean, Melanie and Gigi in particular have been every year for these 4 years, and Laura Chevrier, she always comes.
It would have been really nice to have Melanie here, considering the World Championships just recently, the World Bouldering champion.
She said she was going to come. I asked her in Paris, and she said, yeah, of course I'll be there, but then of course a conflict of dates, so she couldn't come. Sean McConnell really wanted to come, but he has to fly to China to the plenary assembly on Tuesday, and I suspect his girlfriend wouldn't have been too happy if he'd come to Sheffield and flown straight to China. So we're hoping Sean will be here next year, hoping the French will be here. We're also going to move the dates so we don't clash with hard moves in Germany. So it'd be great to have the likes of Jan, Julian Worm over here. We've never had the German team, so that'd be really good.
It'd be great to get the Germans across.
But basically,
had a really good year last year, for one example.
I mean, 3 years ago, I think it was, we actually had 60 real international climbers travelling here, and we'd really like to get back to that sort of standard. But we'll continue developing it. I mean, as you can see, we've got what hopefully looks like a decent light show, and we've got a few other things to show. So with the support of our sponsors and the help of a lot of guys who put in a lot of time, like Si, who set up all of the lights and everything. Unfortunately, he's in hospital and had been knocked off his motorbike yesterday. Yeah, Si and his guys have done a great job, and I think in the final we'll see it a lot more, because obviously it'll be dark by then. So yeah, we'll continue developing it. Probably build a new competition more, because we like building new things. Percy in particular, he gets bored, so yeah, we'll probably knock this all down and rebuild it.
So Graham, can we have a bit of a longer chat as well, maybe during the final, a moment to have a bit of a talk about how you think the final's going on, and the results from the semis when we have them?
Yeah, of course, we'd like to do that. You know I'm always happy to help you.
Thanks very much. Graham Alderson here.
Have we had any Dan facts yet?
We haven't had any Dan's fun facts yet, no. I think I'm going to save them for the finals. we wanted to speak about Sunderland, was it?
Well, those of you who know me, I'm a Sunderland fan, and you'll catch me in a Newcastle shirt. Newcastle are our bitter enemies, but in support of Climate Against Cancer CAC, I'm wearing a Newcastle shirt, and some good friends who are Newcastle fans who promised to put £100 in the charity box for it, so that's why I'm wearing a Newcastle shirt.
I'll talk to you about Climbers Against Cancer later on as well.
Yeah, we'll get John Nelson, who's the guy behind it.
That'll be fantastic.
Have a chat. He's judging for me at the moment, so obviously can't talk, but maybe in the final we'll have a natter to you.
Great, Graham, thank you very much. 2 minutes 20 left on the clock here. Some tops from Alex Puccio. Quite a few others as well. And here's Shauna Coxey, 2 minutes left to go. Women's problem 3. If we're talking just about V gradings, is the most difficult of the women's problems. It's a V7 to a V8.
Okay, let's give Shauna a bit of support now. Come on, Shauna.
Shauna, the home crowd, giving her a bit of a cheer here.
Come on, Shauna.
And she makes that the dyno, the first I've seen it done. That's the bonus hold as well there, so let's see how Shauna gets on here, moving further on up the wall. Now it's not the first sloper you can see there she's going to have a problem with, it's now matching it, the second one that could bring her off the wall if she's not careful.
Come on, Shauna. Come on, Shauna.
Thinking about going for this one. There's a nice positive edge on that final one there. She's just got to go for it. And she has. No such problem for Shauna. Another top for her there. So we're waiting for the gents to finish up now. Bit of a turnaround. All the girls are done. I've just been informed by Graham Alderson there is a technical issue with the results. We will hopefully try and get them sorted for you as soon as they can. You watch Mina Leslie Wojastik try women's problem 2. The highest ranked athlete coming through from the qualifications yesterday. And just next to her, Jakob Schubert as well. We saw him top men's problem 1 a few moments ago. These are the two to watch at the moment. You can just see Jakob creeping onto the screen there from our Roma cam down on the ground. It's going to be interesting to see how Leah gets on as well with women's problem 3. Leah Crane, you can see her there. Should have no doubt heard the cheers as Shauna Coxey just finished that problem.
Come on, Eddie, push it out. Push it out.
Here's Mina getting up onto the bonus hold. Slow and steady. Penultimate hold. Don't jump for this one because it's not a very good edge, that donut ring. I wonder whether she knows that. Is she going to jump for it? She is, and she's going to manage to stick it anyway. Fantastic finish as well. Jakob having a problem matching the bonus hold here. That was quite a spin out as he came off that wall. Jakob shouldn't have any problems with power. or with even some of the technical side of these routes.
Leah Crane, come on, let's do some support. Come on, Leah. Stick it. Ooh.
Leah just having some problems with that bonus hold there. There he is, Jakob Schubert, the world lead champion after the World Championships in Bercy in Paris last year. If you missed any of that action, you'll be able to find it on IFSC's YouTube page. Another attempt here now for him. Let's see how he gets on with this bonus. Heel hook and net. That's the way to do it. He's secured that one there. And there's the top. And she's made it, Leah Rose there, securing the bonus hold. Let's see if she can match.
Come on, Leah, stick with it.
Can she get this one here? There's a very interesting angle here now. And there it is. She tops out there. And as a brief message to Sheila McCarran, who's gone to Twitter and asking, is this the only way to converse during competitions this year? It is with us, I'm afraid. It will be either through the 24/7 Facebook page or on 24/7's Twitter or on my Twitter, which you can find me on @_DanielFinn. Any questions you might have about the competitions, querying the walls, the questions, you can get in touch with Mike as well on his own Facebook page, if you're friends with him.
So, next out. IFSC, Kevin Maranati. Shauna Coxey on women's 4.
And hopefully, Sheila, you'll be commentating with me in Malau. It's the second World Cup after we finish in Chongqing. And I believe it's one of your daughter's birthdays that weekend as well. So maybe we'll get them commentating with us as well. Definitely know their stuff. We have no idea what your reply is as we have no chat. Ha. Here is Alex Puccio about to get started on women's problem 3. There you are, look, no power, no problem with the power there from Alex Puccio at all. She does it one-handed, sticks it. Now she's smearing and she's got to get up onto these next two. Should be all right for her from here as long as she doesn't rush this next move up. There it is. Very, very quick indeed from Alex Puccio there. Shauna on the final women's problem here, women's problem 4. I believe she has already secured her position in the finals, but we'll just see what happens here. She's matched that hold now. That's no doubt getting a little bit greasy. The edge on that isn't great. It's this final one move on to the top. Is she going to be the first person to show this? How this is secured? Very tricky, but she manages to do it. There's a top there on women's problem 4. What we'd all been waiting for. She was the one to give it us. See the sloper holds there on men's problem 3. Supposed to be the most difficult in the grading. It's a V9. Percy Bishton, the head route sitter, or one of the route setting team here in Sheffield at the CWIF. Phillips really taking his time as he gets onto this mantle here. This is where it's going to get tricky. She's got to keep pushing now. Too many attempts, and this is going to tire himself out. This is the end of 4 bouldering problems and a climb yesterday as well. 2 problems there. Interesting tactic with the knee. Is he going to jump for this? Like he is. Didn't go for the foot up on there until he'd already took the top.
Yes. Come on, come on. Yes. Come on, Michele, keep going. Keep going.
For Italy now, Michele Caminati. See the last athlete out on the wall.
A minute left now, okay, on this problem.
45 seconds on the clock. He's going to make a serious effort on men's problem 3. It's going to have to be soon. Qualified very highly yesterday, just behind Jakob Schubert, 2nd position. With 4 seconds left to go, it looks like that's it for him, unfortunately.
So here we go. Jakob Schubert on men's 3, Mina Leslie-Rudasky on women's 3, Tom Newman on men's 4, Lee Crane on women's 4.
So Jakob is back on the wall again now, men's problem 3. See how he gets on with the slopers. And you can see Leah and also Tom Newman already pushing up to the bonus hold on men's problem 4. Jakob taking his time to think through exactly how he's going to attack 3. And Mina doing the same on women's problem 3 now as well. It's looking like Tom Newman as well. Let's take a brief look at him for a second. Very, very close.
I
think that was a top there, and that's definitely a top for Leah as well. Even with 1 finger, that's still 2 hands. And Mina Leslie-Rudasky has made the bonus hold on women's problem 3. As I said at the beginning, this is the reverse seed of the qualifications. So these are the athletes that did the best during the qualification day yesterday on their 2 climbs. We would expect to see them going through into the finals. Mina with a flash here on women's problem 3. That's really going to stand her in good stead for later on today. Remember guys, the finals start at 6 o'clock. We'll be back with you. And I'll see if I can cheekily try and grab a co-commentator in Chris Webb-Parsons before that time as well. Here's Jakob. Nice and slow, familiarizing himself with the holds. Interesting to see Jakob alone at this point. Not often see everybody else completed the problems, and Jakob still on the wall. It does get a little bit easier after these first couple of moves. Percy was telling us that it's those first two that are real tricky ones. And onto the two reds. Entire problem made up of slopers. Jakob really not sure how to do this by the look of things, but 1 minute 40 left on the clock. He's going to have to start making some attempts soon. Trial by error. It's interesting as well as it's, according to Percy, not really that technical. It's more of a power problem. That shouldn't be too much of a problem for Jakob, especially as a lead climber. One minute left to go. Are we going to see Jakob Schubert pull something out of the bag here at the very last? Unfortunately not. I don't think he's going to make another attempt at that. Well, now we watch the clock tick down. There in the bottom left-hand corner, thinking he's a rapper with the mic up to his face, is Percy Bishton. He's the man that set most of these routes. And here you can see chucking some of the sponsored t-shirts out to the crowd. I went through some of the sponsors earlier as well, but obviously you know some of them by now. We've got the Adidas volumes up on the wall there, you can see, and the big Berghaus logo. But there are others that sponsor the CWIF, such as Volksholz and Axis Holds, Outdoor Research, and Scarpa as well. Alex Puccio back on the wall now. Trying to think through what she's going to do here on women's problem 4. The first section, according to Percy, shouldn't be too tricky, but we have seen a bit of a divide there with the women. It looked for a split second then like we were about to lose our only Italian competitor from the wall, but he stopped it with a toe hook. Split of time. Mikhail. See how he gets on here. Alex Puccio making short work of the first section of women's problem 4. This could be a flash here if she manages to secure this. And she does. That's a flash for her, which is just what we saw from Shauna Coxey. Are we about to see it from Mina Leslie Wojcicki as well? It'd be be a nice, tense race to see who is going to take the podium positions here at the CWIF 2013. That's us just letting you guys know that we're also watching you wherever you are. And him with the stick. Still 2 minutes. So 3 minutes nearly left on the clock. And all of our climbers are down from the wall. So I'll open up a brief moment of respite for everybody. Anybody who wants to go and grab something before we see our last climb, go and do it now. You haven't got long before we are joined by Jakob Schubert and Mina Leslie Wojastik, trying their final problems. Oh, we've still got Mikhail, who's just taking a rest.
Okay, he can't quite find the magic he found on the first try. Go on, Gary, stick with it.
These athletes are going to start to get quite tired now. 4 very difficult problems today, 2 yesterday as well. It's a hard weekend of climbing.
Look how sad he looks. Bitter.
For some of the greats that are going to make it through this into the final, they're going to climb again for us later on. We do hope you join us for that. That starts at 6. We'll probably be with you just a little bit before that. How strange that we saw Mikhail make this the first time and now he's having trouble getting off that first push and up onto the bonus hold. I think he just needs to be a little bit slower with it. It is a vertical wall, this final one. He might be rocking because he's feeling it a little bit in the legs there. Slow push up there with the legs is really going to be painful for him. So he's trying to rock up. And that's it, I think, from Mikhail. 4 seconds left to go. The crowd give him a round of applause. And here we are with our final 2 climbers of the semi-finals. Jakob Schubert and Mina Leslie Wojastik, quick clean on the wall there. Mina having a look at the start. These are our highest ranked climbers from yesterday. Mina had a bit of an up and down year last year as well in 2012. She took a break for quite a bit of it. Didn't do many of the IFSC World Cups. Jakob, on the other hand, had to go at pretty much all of them. Jakob, one of the multi-disciplined climbers. There are a few of them. Sean McCall, another one. Does lead, speed and boulder. Jakob does boulder and lead. For the women as well. We have Kim Jae-in.
Yeah.
It's looking like Mina's going to match this as well. It's this final movement, whether she can take her time to do this one. If she can flash this here, and she does. I believe that was 4 flashes for Mina Leslie Wojcicki. We'll let you know as soon as we possibly can, but with 3 minutes and 10 seconds still left on the clock, more than that even, that was 40 seconds just over for both of those athletes to finish a V7 and a V6. Sorry, no, a V8 for the men in 40 seconds. It just goes to show you the caliber of some of the athletes that we have here at the CWIF, and indeed many of the other competitions throughout the year with the IFSC. The crowd takes some time away from the wall, as the athletes will do now as well. A little bit of respite as we calculate exactly who has made it through. I can tell you with a fair amount of certainty that we will be seeing Jakob Schubert.
There is a free barbecue at 3:30. There is beer for £2 a pint. All the proceeds to Climbers Against Cancer. You need to go and put some money in the collection buckets for Climbers Against Cancer right now.
And we'll also pretty much undoubtedly be seeing Mina Leslie Wojcicki in that final as well. We are off for a little while now, until 6 o'clock. Just before 6, we'll be back with you to get ready for the finals here of the CWIF 2013. Thank you very much for joining us. I've been Daniel Finn, and I'll see you in just a couple hours' time.
And there's also CWIF CAC t-shirts available. So a big go, I'll soon decide what